I was just thinking about it the other day, and shopping has become so simple. You go online, you see that superb jacket, and a few taps later, you're all checked out and the proud owner of a brand new jacket. So, it's invisible, it's convenient, it's completely seamless. But what happens behind the scenes? you know? So I want to, just start with Abhinav, Tell me about this magic of infinite commerce and seamless payments. What is your perspective?
Yeah, I think it's, see, as the lines are blurring, right, customers expect everything, let's say, click of a button, right? And so that's what I think we at GoKwik also do, right? We try to bring in convenience in shopping, right? People don't want to now wait, right? So let's say if you go back a few years, it was only offline shopping. People just go to the store, stand in lines, make the payment, come back. But right, I think post-COVID, online just took a big jump. People got comfortable buying online. There was trust created by brands, selling online. People got used to it. And then we started realizing, how can we make it friction-free, right? Offline was a lot of friction. You have to go to the store, then stand in a queue, make a payment. But that's when actually GoQuick, the idea of GoQuick was born. We launched a product for checkout, right? What we do is bring in sort of a seamless convenience when it comes to shopping, right? The biggest friction is you've come to the store, you've browsed what you want to buy, you've done an add to cart. Now the next step comes in, right? What do you do, right? You have to put in your phone number, type in your address, and then make a payment. And it's all like, you might have probably clicked on what you liked in probably 5 seconds, but to actually buy it, you'd spend another 50 seconds, right? That's where the idea of GoQuick was born, right? How can we reduce that 5 seconds of buying time and the 50 seconds of exiting time and reduce that 50 seconds to probably less than five? That's what the idea of GoQuick came in, that how can we make your login seamless? How can we, pre-fill your address? Something like, think about it, bringing, let's say, Amazon kind of an experience. Today people shop at malls, etc. Largely because, you're pre-logged in, payments are preset, but how can I bring in the same experience when it comes to D2C? Today, brands.com have become fairly large. People want to start selling there, but can I bring it to that? So that's where the idea of GoQuick came in. We launched a checkout, which was largely, trying to bring in convenience. So we help people, log in, pre-fill the addresses, and personalize the payments, right? If I use one credit card every time for payment, why do I have to look at 20 payment options? Why can't I just look at one payment option and just make the payment, right? I don't want to go to that pain. So we bring in that kind of seamlessness. And coming to the larger topic, see, at GoQuick, we believe in trying to build seamlessness across the funnel, right? When it comes to online shopping, can we have a connected commerce across? So from the time the customer browses till the time he checks out, can we have a seamless experience? Can we get the same sort of experience in terms of while browsing, even while the order is done, while shipping? We try to, connect all the dots and make the customer experience better.
Rohit, you want to chime in here and tell us about Genesis?
Yeah, hi. I don't know, am I audible? Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Rohit here from Genesis. It's a retail tech company. A lot of the brands and retailers out here across the country have been using the product for a decade plus. And what we have been doing is basically adding more and more pieces of technology to make the lives of the merchants or the retailers easier. So whether it's the ERP, point of sale, e-com, order management, what we believe, and this is what our customers tell us, that to make these connected experiences seamless, to make them work together is a very huge challenge. And trying to get them to talk to each other is a huge challenge. And hence the need for a integrated kind of suite, which is what we are offering with Genesis One. So that, when you get a customer in the store, you can still see what they have shopped for online, what they have done online. When you, go to the website, you can see what they've done offline, and you can redeem your points in both the places as if it's the same. You can redeem your wallet. So it's kind of, as you said, trying to make the customer journey as seamless and smooth as possible for, like a great omni-channel experience. And I think there is a lot of innovation that is happening in this space. So obviously, endless aisle is something that we have all seen and heard about. So that's also something that's coming up in terms of trying to browse from an endless catalog and order from anywhere, like while you are still at the store because you don't want to lose the customer or lose a sale. Things like that is kind of the where we are going in terms of retail experiences. And I think physical retail is also going to become a lot like online retail in terms of the convenience. Obviously, people still want the touch and feel, a lot of the time. So they still end up visiting malls and stores and buying from there. And I don't think anybody of us would want all of that to go away.
Uh, so, I mean, we are talking about checkouts and, how infinite commerce is such a powerful tool now and a powerful engine, really, which is driving retail growth. And so we've heard from the creators of the engine, but, there are brands and retailers who are driving this engine. So, Anand, let's start with you. You want to tell us something about thinKitchen and, are seamless checkouts actually driving operational efficiency for you?
Yeah, sure. So, hello. Thank you, one. Second, I think at thinKitchen, we are importing about 40 odd international brands and distributing them in India. Customers, online, offline, wholesale, retail, Horeca, corporate gifting, all sorts of customers. When it comes to the point you asked, I think it is absolutely important from a brand perspective because the customer in our case is ultimately out there. It's either offline or online. So omnichannel becomes extremely important. And the customer, absolutely like Abhinav mentioned, customer wants convenience. And if that convenience is there where they make that entire journey seamless, frictionless, I mean, I think we were talking about it, I think the more friction you have, the less conversion you have. So if we are able to make it frictionless, it helps the customer because then they are not spending that time in checking out. I mean, they've made the purchase. And I think over a period of time, what we've realized as a brand is that, the payment gateway or the last bit is actually not the end of the transaction. It is part of that experience that the customer is still going through. And if that experience is a sour experience, the customer probably is never going to return. Because I'm not going to fill in, like you mentioned, I'm not going to fill in all my details again. I'd rather go to a platform where all of this is already available. So it becomes extremely important that that experience that the customer is getting is the right experience till the very last moment, because it's the last memory that the customer is going to have in mind before he or she leaves and hopefully comes back again. And that sort of makes it very, very important from our perspective as a brand, why what we need in terms of the entire experience has to be seamless.
But you're fairly new into the market, but then there are legacy brands like Spykar. How are you adopting these systems, and adapting to them as well, you know?
So I have a different perspective here. Since everybody is saying it's a seamless, frictionless journey, we as a spiker truly believe that yes, it is. But I think more than that, it also brings hygiene. How? I haven't, maybe I can, share an example that what I have faced in the last, maybe, while using this tool, what we have experienced that a lot of customers are during, pre-fill. So this pre-fill address which mentioned by Abhinav, that, it's very important. I have seen a lot of consumers just by the, just for the sake of filling the address, they sometimes write block 2 instead of block 3. And we have faced a lot of RTOs because of the incorrect address. I think that pre-fill is helping us big time. And that is why RTO is also in the numbers has gone down. Maybe not at the percentage what we are looking at, but it is definitely helping us. So I think hygiene is also something is playing an important role in the business by opting, for these faster checkouts. And I also, my experience, whatever I have done in the last 2 years of using this faster checkouts, I have also seen that returns is also getting better. Reason that what kind of customers you are, catering to. There are customers who are high risk customers. we know from this pin code, we are getting maximum returns. So can we do more dissection in terms of, you deep dive and you just strategically, say, okay, these are my high risk customers. I will be only giving prepaid to them. Why will I give COD to them? So there are a lot of things which can be done around with the faster checkouts, and definitely it will definitely bring hygiene in the business.
So that's interesting because my next question was going to be that, are there any other returns on investment apart from just customer convenience? And then you spoke about hygiene and pre-filling and returns, less returns. So, from the product side,
Yeah, so see, as we talking about checkout, right? So checkout is not only just help you improves conversion, right? That's I think the first thing we talk about, right? Uh, there are multiple other things, right? So for example, we touched upon RTO, which is a very India-specific problem. In India, still, if you talk about 60% odd customers prefer to pay via cash, right? And once the cash order is placed, 25-30% of them refuse to accept it. Right, so that's a very India specific. So with tools like GoKwik coming in the picture, we're able to provide a lot of intelligence to the brands, right? That okay, we know the shopping history of customer, and that's how we're trying to, if you talk about the main topic, that connected commerce, right? So we are able to try to give you one view of the customer to the brand and saying that hey, we've seen this customer shop across the network. Out of the last 10 orders, maybe he's probably done 7 odd RTOs. So whether you want to give him cash as an option or not is a choice that you can make, right? Which eventually helps you improve your funnel, right? Then there are other benefits, right? Obviously, everybody wants prepaid because in India, 60% orders are cash. Uh,
also mostly sizes are wrong when
that's the next problem. I'll come to the
yeah.
returns part. How can we? So I would say sizes is still a genuine problem to have, right? Most brands will solve it using technology, using some graphics, better experiences, etc. So I'd say that's a general problem to have. There are other problems which probably brands will look at solving is probably like frauds, etc., which happen a lot here. Genuine, I think brands will be able to solve at some point in time. Either we give them some AI-based tool which will help in virtual try-ons. I think we were discussing in the last discussion. Some of these things will help reduce returns as well.
How do you then deal with, say, balancing data privacy along with providing personalization to the consumer? For them, from the consumer end, really, they want privacy in terms of data, but you also need to provide them with
Yeah, it's a
what they're
good
looking
question,
for.
right? So I'll just give you an example. Let's say when we started GoKwik about 4 years back, and we were very scared that somebody puts up their phone number and the address comes up, and how many people will be really will call us back and say, how did you get my address, right? Because eventually, if you look at it, how as GoKwik capturing address, we take consent from the customer at the time of doing some checkout, but I don't know how many of them actually read that consent form, right? It's just a click. But to be surprised, let's say especially the Indian audience, people are not so worried about, let's say, privacy. But at the same time, as a data owner, it's our job to maintain that we ensure that data doesn't go out, doesn't get leaked, doesn't go out to any third party. And hence, we have taken the onus to maintain data security, privacy level at European and American levels. At GoKwik, we have, GDPR compliant. We have, maintain the highest level of data security just to make sure that your data doesn't go out. But surprisingly, being India, people have not really, till it's been 4 years. Today, GoKwik has about 150 odd million customers' data. Not even 5 have ever come back and asked us that from where did you get my address?
So, I mean, just continuing from there, Rohit, are there any other really big challenges for, I mean, when you deal with brands, to adopting technology like this? What are the kind of challenges that you face when you are dealing with brands and retailers?
Yeah, I think one of the key challenges for brands and retailers typically what they face is in terms of, what, hello, now, okay, a typical challenge that we come across when we pitch a solution is, whether it's actually going to generate ROI, how soon are they going to get ROI out of this? And that's a little bit of a nuanced question because it also depends on how well you adopt it and whether you are ready to go the whole hog or like put it in bits and pieces and try it out. I think the experimentation part is also important where you can try it out in bits and pieces, because that kind of gives you the use case to build a full-fledged implementation story out of it. But most of the brands are very uh, they don't have enough data to make that kind of baseline calculation that, okay, I might save so much in terms of uh, fees, in terms of inventory, in terms of return chargebacks and stuff like that. So if they don't have enough data, or if it's not easily accessible, then again it's a problem of how to do the ROI calculation. But I think sometimes we can help with that. And one, as we were talking about seamless commerce, so I think one of the challenges that most of the brands want to do omni-channel, but are not able to do it because the systems are kind of disconnected and they don't talk to each other in a very seamless way. So usually what happens is one system gets updated, the other one is still in a different version and still using the old version and things like that, where the integrations keep breaking down. So most of the integration is very, very basic, and that leaves a lot of room for improvement, which is where the omni-channel experience is missing. So even something like as basic as getting an order and trying to figure out which store to fulfill that order from in an automated way, trying to ensure so that the time of delivery is the least, is obviously very easy on a marketplace because they have got everything mapped out. But for a brand to do that, it becomes difficult.
From a brand perspective, though, because you are into a very different sort of the profession, if I may call it, or into selling something very unique, right? Hardwares, which is not very common. So, what kind of challenges do you face when you need to adapt to new technologies or adopt seamless checkout systems, if you want to talk, or integrated retail systems in general?
To be very honest, we rely on people like them to make sure that they solve our problem, because honestly, our first problem is to make sure the customer gets the right product at the right time. And then all of these other additions are also important, maybe equally as important, but the customer has to get both of them. So I think it becomes very, very important from our perspective. Challenges is, like Rohit mentioned over here, saying, right now where we are as a country, you've got offline, and then you got seamless integration over there, and then you got online, and then you got integration over here. But both offline and online, the omni-channel integration isn't happening just yet. Will it happen eventually? I think absolutely. I'm relying on the product development on their side to make sure that works out for us. I think it's important from that perspective. I mean, that's our challenge. Just to one of your earlier points, and being brand representatives on this panel, when you talked about data privacy and everything else, I think the onus also is on the brand. As much as we have customer data, if any one of our customers emails us saying, please take us off subscription list, it is a must do in our organization that we have to do it. Because again, at some level, it's all about trust. And the moment you lose that trust in the customer is not going to come back to you. So that was the point which I wanted to make. But,
So quick dual question to both Khushboo and Abhinav. Since you both are working together, you are going to tell him what challenges you face.
Okay. So I, just coming back to this panel, before coming back to this panel, I was just discussing with him that, so I will just give a compliment to you that the team is very good. So challenges, yes, we are not facing any challenges as such, but there is a goal which eventually a brand has to achieve. So there is a goal which we are, so for a brand who's offline heavy and not a online heavy, say, but we do business, right? We do have a percentage, we do have a share in e-commerce. And continuing that, I was thinking that the very important thing which I really want that GoKwik should do is like, there has to be a number in terms of, so we have a goal, say, so now I'll be very, very clear.
Just go ahead with your wish list.
Yeah. So the thing is
tell
that
him.
prepaid share versus COD share, the very important, I think, aspect for any D2C. The more the prepaid orders, the more the delivery is. So we all know that. This is a fact. So I think the journey started when we were at a percentage X. Today we are at Y. The goal is Z. So how to reach that? is something we are still figuring out with you guys. And I think this is something which we want you to take, and proactively, because otherwise, I think only just with pre-filling of addresses and, maybe deep diving on other sections will not help, because at the end of the day, I think this is, I feel as a brand person, that this will really, really impact our revenue, conversions, etc. Because prepaid is important for
Abhinav, I hope
us.
you're taking notes
So,
because
yeah,
there is a lot of work to do now.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think we have some team members also sitting there. They'll take down notes. But I think a very fair question here. Rather than just getting into Spykar, let me just talk about in large what does the checkout does, and what is the goal, right? Obviously, our goal is not just to pre-fill an address. The end goal of every product is to give you some value, right? If the pre-filling address doesn't lead to any value, nobody needs it. Nobody will pay us anything, right? It needs to some value, and this value is translated into 2 or 3 kind of numbers that we look at. One is that obviously, if you've been address pre-fill, payment personalization, etc., has more number of people being able to get out of the same funnel. So has your conversion rates improved, right? That's first funnel that you should look at. I'm sure we look at that. The second is what you mentioned, prepaid, right? As I said, India is about 60-70% COD, every brand is saying. And how I look at it, when a sale happens on COD, at least at GoKwik, we say it's not a sale. It takes another 1 week of that sale, or probably 4 to 5 days for the sale to complete, because the cash is still to be received. Right? Being in India, jab tak cash haath mein aa jaye, it's not a sale, right? So we need to wait for another 5 days to actually say ki dhanda ho gaya hai. So that's why brands like we want to get more prepaid, and people started burning a lot of money on prepaid also. If you look at today, go on any e-commerce website, you'll get a 5%, 2%, depending on the brand and the category. You get a 5% discount just because people want the sale now.
But with no returns. But with no returns.
But with no returns. Yeah.
So that is additional cost.
Yeah, but with no returns, correct. Yeah, so obviously at GoKwik, we look at optimizing everything. We look at why should you give a discount to a customer when he was ready to buy at full cost, right? That's one of the intelligence we'll give you. If the customer is buy to buy 100%, why give it 95%? So we can give you that sort of intelligence. Prepaid, there are multiple funnel improvements. But I don't want to get into a product discussion for the audience, right? But there are multiple funnel improvements that can be done. It's as simple as just 2 for everyone. Just showing one payment option above the other leads to a few percentage change in the kind of payment instrument that commands. So some of these very small, I would say micro changes eventually leads to a funnel improvement. But yeah, we look at prepaid improvement, we look at reducing your RTO, and obviously conversion.
But Abhinav, my experience is that small changes actually impacts a lot. It makes a difference. I have seen the numbers. It makes a difference. So I
काम
think
आ गया आपको अब आप no, but I mean, just moving on from there, I just want to get another tech perspective here. I want to know, do smarter checkouts, since we are talking about integrated checkout systems mostly, do they actually translate into loyal customers? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely we do. Because, I mean, we improved our checkout experience both for our desktop POS as well as our mobile POS recently. We upgraded both. Because based on, our customer, that is merchant feedback, that, okay, it's taking too long to fill this up, and people want to fill in less information, and we are getting junk, as you mentioned, data hygiene. So people are filling in junk information. So it's important to make it as easy and seamless as possible, and we have given them self-filling options also, so that the customer is able to fill in their own information. And we have integrations with various of the loyalty partners, CRM partners, so that once you fill in a mobile number, if the data privacy is allowed, so you'll get, we are able to fetch the data even in the offline store. So those kind of things we have helped with. And we have seen a better, checkout experience. Though in store, it doesn't matter so much because the person is already at the cash counter, so they're not going to leave the basket and go until unless it's a really terrible experience. But it does matter in terms of reducing the queue length behind.
But
So
yes,
if I may
please.
add, I think on our online platform, we see a huge difference. There is definitely a customer repeat that we are seeing, and I'm assuming, I can't put a tangible number to it, but I'm sure there is an intangible element to this faster checkout, which is making the customer also come back. I mean, it's part of the experience. That's what we.
But have you noticed any one-time consumers turning into more repeat customers on your
absolutely.
website?
I mean, we've got, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's not, last I checked with my team, I think it was north of 40% repeat business. In our category, I mean, how many knives are you going to buy? Right? So I'm assuming that the customer is probably coming in and doing more buying and probably also evaluating that, you know what, checkout is a seamless process. I don't have to break my head over the entire process. It does, I think it does carry a little, some amount of weight for sure.
So just concluding the conversation from a brand perspective, do you recommend these systems be integrated online and maybe offline? Because Spykar, of course, it started as an offline brand. I know you lead the e-commerce business, but it would be nice to, weigh in on both the
I think
online and offline.
we can look up to these brands, of course. Definitely, Decathlon, you mentioned one of the example. So look up, definitely, yes, we can. Faster checkout in offline is something which is, maybe it will take some more time in India, but eventually it is a goal which can be look up, too. But in online, it really matters. And my experience says that if you really, really work on those small, small things, it will definitely yield results. And the numbers definitely says, I think the one small tweak, and you check for the next 7 days, the 8th day you will see the number has been changed. And this is what I have seen in my experience. So I think definitely faster checkout will definitely help a lot.
So on that note, I think we're going to wrap up the last session of the day. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Feedback taken.
Thank you.